Hey everybody, this is Tony.
And this is Paul. We're coming at you from the Friends for Life podcast, where we discuss the ongoing lives and issues of people with developmental disabilities to spark positive change in the field.
And we have a lot of fun doing it.
Making sure that individuals are reaching the goals they have set for themselves. That's one of the many goals of Assured Health Services. If you're looking for a residential care provider or searching for ADS services, Assured Health is your go-to place. Assured Health, helping others succeed. Learn more at assuredhealthohio.com or call 419-442-8066. All right. Well, Carly, welcome to the podcast. We're glad to have you in here, a fellow Northwest Ohioan. We've been all over the place for so long, and we haven't talked to anybody from your side of town for a while. So how did you get involved with the DD field in general? Before we dive into all the cool stuff you got going on with the Twin Tech 2.0 home, we want to know about you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. My name's Carly. I am actually an occupational therapist. So I did my undergrad at The Ohio State University. So this Michigan stuff is making me a little uncomfortable, but I'm kidding.
Shout outs to OSU and their academic program.
Yes. So I went there for undergrad, and then I did my graduate school at the University of Toledo. And honestly, I saw this job posting and had no idea what it was going to be, but went for it. And I have absolutely fallen in love with it. I love working with the people that we work with. We have a great staff too, so it's a really great place to work. So I've been sucked in, and now I'm here to stay and loving every minute of it.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
So we've been to a lot of county boards. Wood County, I don't know if we've talked to anybody from Wood County yet, have we?
I don't think we have.
So you might be our first guest from Wood County.
Wow.
So
I'm honored.
Before we dive into the house, what's some stuff that Wood County offers that maybe not some other county boards don't offer? Because we've come to find that they all are a little different.
They do. They all operate a little different. Yeah. So Wood County, we have lots of different things. So some of our big things, obviously technology. So Ohio is a technology first state, as we all know. And so we have really jumped into that full force, and we offer a lot of different supports to promote the use of assistive technology for the people we work with, and really for everyone with disabilities. So that's a big thing. We also have some of our big initiatives right now would be our respite programs. We have 3 different homes now that we operate for respite. One is specifically for children. That one just opened in Rossford, Ohio.
Okay.
So that's a really cool program. And then the other 2 are for adults. So that's a program that a lot of our individuals take advantage of. We also have a transition program that's doing their transition summer experience right now. They just sold me a coffee this morning. So that was a free coffee. So I was like,
$3.99 is the best.
This is a great way to start my day. So we've got that program up and running. We're working on some multi-system youth programming. We have Wood Lane School. We have a ton of service coordinators. That department is just ginormous. We have early intervention services, and we also do our early intervention service coordination. We have a recreation program. I'm not sure if all county boards have that, but we have a great recreation program that works with our Special Olympic sports and then also offers other recreation opportunities in the community. I feel like I'm forgetting massive departments. And then we have occupational therapy, which is definitely not something that most boards have. So we have 3 occupational therapy practitioner staffs on staff. And then we have nursing as well. And then we have provider relations, who works with all the providers, recruiting providers, helping agencies and independent providers to, feel that comfortable working with the people they work with, providing trainings, making sure that they're maintaining certifications. We offer medication certification courses and CPR and positive supports first, all those good trainings. So I could go on and on, right?
Well, yeah, it sounds like you guys are really, you're taking advantage of, for one, I'm sure, government dollars that have been put out to help ease the stress on agency providers. Are you noticing that the community is becoming a lot more understanding of what our field of work actually does now?
Absolutely. I think our Wood County specifically, we work a lot with providers, and a lot of that outreach includes we do a community festival every year. We do outreach to our universities, so BGSU, Owens. We also do a little bit with the University of Toledo. So we reach out and really spread the word about specifically careers in the DD field, to help recruit providers and to bring more people to the system, because obviously, as we know, the workforce crisis is a real thing. So, we're bringing a lot of awareness to that. Our superintendent, Brent Baer, is very supportive of supporting the DSPs and the DSP workforce. The recent budget approval of increasing wages, which is amazing. Yes. So we're absolutely in support of all of that. And, we see technology as another way to help the workforce, right? Not everyone needs the physical staff there all the time. People can use technology to be independent and safe, and we're all for that.
Well, we talk about a lot on this podcast, too, is about how people are, at first, people were very scared of technology with this field, but now I think they're starting to see that it is giving people more independence, which is, at the end of the day, what we all want. Everybody wants to be independent and be able to do things on their own and not be told how or why. They want to be able. So I think what you're doing with this house is cool, because it's using a lot of modern technology, and I think people think when they're talking about like a smart house or something, I don't know for disabilities if it's any different than a lot of my friends have Alexa hooked up in their house, and I go over there and I'm like, they're like, oh, just say this to turn the lights off, and I'm like, where's the light switch? I'm still old fashioned.
The simplicity.
Like, I don't want to yell at 3 a.m. to turn the light on if I need to get up. But anyway, so. Where did the idea for the house come from? I know there's a few around the area, but how, like...
So we had first a adaptive equipment and assistive technology loan closet. And so in that, we were starting to build up some technology. We had an Alexa, some smart plugs that we would loan out to people. We would help them set it up in their home, and they could try it. And that was working really well. But then really in 2018, DODD and NYSA and the OSU Nysonger Center released the grants, the remote support grants. And we applied for that with the thought of, how can we build this? How can we build just a loan closet and continue to bring the technology to people and bring the people to the technology? Because I think the fear is exactly what we noticed. Sometimes the individuals, but more often probably parents and caregivers and other people that were a little worried about, I've been taking care of this person their whole life. How can an Alexa replace me, right? Which is, of course, not the goal. But we really needed more ways for people to get their hands on it, to try it, to see it, to feel it. So I came up with the idea, what if we had a house? And I thought this was a crazy suggestion, but our leadership team was supportive of it. So we kind of ran with it. So in 2019, August of 2019, we opened Twin Tech, the first house. And with the thought that we would put technology in there, but not a lot. We don't want you to walk in and notice anything, really. We don't want you to walk in and feel like, okay, what year did I just step into? We wanted it to be subtle. So we did some remote supports and some off-the-shelf assistive technology. And we hosted tours, and then we also offered people the opportunity to stay overnight. So we rotated through 3 different providers who offered the remote supports in kind. They were willing to provide remote supports for people to stay over 1 or 2 nights. And that home had 2 bedrooms. So there was a bedroom kind of upstairs. So if a caregiver wanted to stay or if their provider wanted to stay for peace of mind, they could do that. But it was still kind of separate. So you could have a realistic experience of living with technology. So we did that, and it was very successful. And then March 2020 hit. We all know what happened, right? The pandemic. So we weren't able to use the home, so we decided to end that lease. And then during that time of COVID, we purchased a home in Bowling Green, Ohio on Klotz Road, which is where Twin Tech 2.0 is. And it took some time to get that up and running, right? Global pandemic going on. And so we renovated the house. The first house, the main part of it was accessible, but the caregiver suite that we called it was upstairs. So we didn't love that. It was also a duplex, which causes some issues sometimes. So This house was a ranch house. It was perfect, but still not accessible, even though it was a ranch. So I, again, approached our leadership and said, how can we make this accessible? Obviously, as an OT, that is one of my big, one of my big concerns. So we ended on the best way to do that would be to renovate the house. So again, during the pandemic, not a great time to go out and ask for bids for contractors. We attempted that, and the price of wood and the price of supplies and just getting contractors, it was a mess. So we ended on our maintenance department, which is amazing, did all of the renovations. Wow. There were a few things that we had to bid out, of course, but almost everything was done by our maintenance department. So they transferred the garage into a ramp access. So now the garage, which you would have no idea that it used to be a garage, is the main entrance. And it's a ramp up into the home. And then the first room that you walk in is all an addition. So we put an addition onto the house so that we could have a fully accessible living room, bedroom, bathroom, and laundry room. We could have probably made renovations to the existing house, but it would have cost likely the same amount of money. And it would have been a lot of logistics to figure out, really just to make the entrance accessible. And then we likely would have had to move the existing bathroom to make it accessible. So at the end of the day, it made more sense to do the addition. So we did that, and our maintenance team did a fabulous job putting that together. So now we have an accessible home. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 bath. And it is open-ish. So the official opening is next week with our official open house. But yeah, that's how we came to it. And so still the same idea. People can tour it. You can come try. There are some things in the house that can go, that can be lent out through the lending closet. But otherwise, people can come. They can stay overnight. And this time we did contract with THS, which is a remote support provider. So it's just going to be one provider in there.
And also one of our sponsors.
Oh, hey, shout out. I should have brought my THS mug.
There you go.
So that should make it a little bit logistically easier this time, just having one remote support provider in. All of their technology is in there. And then we also put a bunch of technology in there too. So
that is awesome. And so what can people expect when they stay in a house like this? I mean, I know I watched your video you had online. You have a few things like Alexa and a cool bed that has sensors in it and all this stuff. But what if someone's going to come stay the night? What can they expect out of the experience?
So truly, I think it should just be looked at as like an Airbnb, right? Just going to stay somewhere and being open-minded to what they can test out. We have little cards by all of the technology so you know how to use it. We have guides and suggestions of things you can say. But really just being open-minded and not being afraid to play around with the technology. You really can't break it. Most of the time it just stops working itself, right? That's technology. But yeah, just being open-minded to kind of checking out things and also being ready for a lot of variety. I think it can be a little bit overwhelming because we have over 90 pieces of technology. So I think that maybe could sound intimidating, but knowing that no one really needs all 90 pieces, right? It's just about finding what would work for you. And if that's starting small with a small Echo Dot or a Google Mini, good. You have to start somewhere. So yeah, I think just being open-minded and I also think don't get your hopes up like you're gonna walk into some like robot home that looks crazy. I think you could walk in and be like, all right, what was the hype about? This looks like a house.
Carly, it is time for your dinner open mouth.
Right, right. Wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, when you say tech house, you kind of do get that vibe. Like you're going to walk in and it's going to be like those doors from Star Trek or something like.
Yeah.
But no,
well, I had a quick question because like back to what we were saying, being in this field, you noticed a lot of power struggles, I think, with like parents, guardians, and caregivers in regards to technology. Do you think that this house, these homes and stuff now are helping the people transition through that thought? And do you have parents or guardians come by to see like, oh, I shouldn't be that afraid of it? And can they stay as well and I like it.
Absolutely. So now it's a 4-bedroom house, which still offers the opportunity for a parent, caregiver, staff to stay. The remote supports through THS is going to be active for overnight stays, but they're not billing. Gotcha. So if HPC still needs to come, they can still come and have that full experience. But we have parents all the time. Most of the time, parents are coming with their loved one or some other family member with their loved one to see what it's all about. And I think it's a slow process, right? It starts with a tour, and we keep that, pretty simple to show some things. The individual gets to explore a little bit. Parents and caregivers get to explore. And then maybe they try something, right? Maybe they borrow something from the loan closet, and then maybe they work up to an overnight stay. It's kind of a slow process. And I think the remote support providers also do a great job if we get to the point of doing like provider interviews. They're all really good at working with families and kind of easing some of those worries. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a great resource for parents and just allowing people to see what's possible.
Awesome.
What's the end goal of a house like this? Is it just to get people comfortable with technology in the hopes that they'll incorporate it into their own lives, or just kind of show off what's available, all the above?
Yeah, all the above. I think the goal really is to show people the possibilities, and all people, not just individuals served or providers or parents, but anyone, college students coming into the field, so that they know that they can recommend it for people. Anyone in any related field, to show them what's possible and to be less afraid of it. I think we should see technology as another option, another support. It's not to replace any existing supports necessarily. It's not to replace people. It's just to be an additional support for people. So I think really just showing the possibilities and encouraging people to give it a try. And if it doesn't work, it's still a success because you gave it a shot.
Yeah, and I think I can understand why people get scared of technology, but none of us would be able to do our jobs without any technology. Right. I mean, we all use laptops. 90% of the jobs out there are computer-based.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to do this podcast without technology. We wouldn't be able to drive you to your appointments without technology.
And I think the pandemic, that is kind of a, I don't know.
It was almost like a reset button for us.
Yes, it was. And it was good to show people how much we all depend on technology. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how we can use it sometimes. How many times did we learn in the pandemic that, okay, that meeting is just an email? Yeah. Right? That email sufficed. We didn't actually have to meet, Right. So I think we all learned a little something from that. And I think it helps people to see a little bit how much technology can be helpful, and that it shouldn't be too scary. And I think the biggest question we always get is, what if the power goes out? What if the internet goes out? What if... But I think the same can be said for in-person staff, right? Mm-hmm. What if the in-person staff has an emergency and has to leave? What if the in-person staff doesn't wake up when they're on-site on call and they're, still asleep when something happens?
Which all of these things have happened.
Yes. There's always going to be what ifs. I think we just have to take a little bit of a leap to say, it is what it is, right? And it's worth a shot. It's worth a try. So I think starting small is sometimes the best way to go, just to open that door a little bit.
Yeah. The Reliable Drug and Alcohol Testing Clinic is a leading provider and convenient source of pre-employment and occupational type testing. Their clinic provides services to a wide range of private businesses, healthcare facilities, and municipal and county courts. Reliable is an independent, locally owned clinic. As a result, they provide their services at a lower cost than the major hospitals, have faster turnaround times on test results, and eliminate the long waits typically incurred at these larger facilities. To learn more, visit reliabledrugtest.com.
What's your favorite tech?
Ooh, probably, so in my house, we have Google products. Okay. And I do love just the simple, the Google Home. Mm-hmm. My daughter, she's 5. And so when she wakes up in the morning, she says, "Hey, Google, what's the weather today?" And then she listens and she can tell, okay, it's going to rain, so I want my rain boots today. Or, and just that little thing is so nice that she's not coming to me asking me, I'm not a morning person. So I don't want to have those conversations in the morning. So it's great that she can build up her independence that way. So I really like just the home automation stuff for us is great. It's so simple and it's so widely used that it's somewhat affordable. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably my favorite. But in the house, I love the Echo wall clock, which is a very simple thing.
What is it?
So it's just a wall clock, but you connect it to the Alexa, and then when you tell Alexa to set a timer, it lights up like a visual timer. So if you set a timer for 30 minutes, it'll light up for 30 minutes. So it's such a simple visual to help someone know kind of here's how much time I have. There's lots of low-tech ways to do that, but sometimes technology can be motivating. So if you have this cool looking clock, maybe you're more likely to follow that 30-minute timer.
I'm thinking about it with my Echo.
I know. And then also the switch bot on our curtains is very cool. So that's connected to our Google, so the Google will open and close the curtains. So that's very fun.
Wow. Paul, you got any cool tech?
I have a camera.
This guy loves
Like a video
camera.
doorbell or just like a...
Just a regular
No, just a regular camera.
I'm not, it's ironic that my job is to deal with all this technology that you see in front of you.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like one of those things where it's like, that's my job, so I don't want to deal with it when I'm not at home.
Yeah.
So
You're done with
I'm
it.
an analog person in my home.
Well,
I have no Alexa, no Google, no nothing.
It is weird. It's like going back in time.
It's like the pioneer days.
Like, hold on, I have to talk to people to get
I have to
answers.
flip this light switch. Are you kidding me?
I don't even have the TV where you can talk into the remote. It's just
What?
you got to click the button still.
Oh my gosh. Does it have a big back on it?
He's got a floor model. He's got to hit it when it doesn't work right.
The big giant
Does it still have a
rectangle.
turn knob on there?
Yeah, I have a Nintendo hooked
I
up
was
to
gonna
it.
say. Beautiful.
No,
Yes.
I am a big proponent of technology, but
Yeah.
I don't use it myself.
That's all right.
That might be hypocritical.
Yeah, you'll get there.
You do, though. Do you have a cell phone?
I have a car and a cell phone and
You
a
have a
computer and
smartphone?
a
Yeah, you use it.
yeah.
He's close.
Alarm
enough.
clock
No,
on your phone?
no.
What? You
I just wake up at the same time every day. The sun comes through the window and
Hey,
you're like,
I'm kind of efficient
And then
like
you're
that with them. Like so.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
4:30, I'm up. Then I go back to sleep if I'm not doing anything. Like I have to
wow.
go through emails.
that's
Probably
not
spend
me.
some downtime just to myself, and then
yeah, I'm like a 7:30 guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to really learn to stop sending him messages super early. My
At
team
4:30.
messages. They used to be like,
4:30.
dude, we are not up as early as you.
You're the
You are
weirdo.
not
Yeah, and I'm
Getting
sitting there, I'm
answers.
checking out email. Yeah, efficiency.
That's great.
I
I
think
love that.
one of the things I saw that I thought was really cool, that there's just little things that are very helpful to people
Yeah.
that you wouldn't think about. And one of the things I saw that I really thought was awesome was the cupboards that have the pull down.
Yes.
Like that's technology.
yeah.
Technology doesn't always have to be computers.
Computer, right.
Right.
I thought that was really cool. What are some little things like that you think are very helpful to people with disabilities?
Yeah. So let's see. I'm going to go room by room because that makes it
Yeah.
easy. So in the kitchen, there's so many things for cooking, meal prep, simple things. Like, for example, we have the cut gloves. So I don't know if you've ever worked in food service. I used to work at Panera. And we had to wear the cut glove, right, when we were cutting the bread because you can't cut through it. So
think
just a
with
simple
tomatoes.
thing like wearing a glove, right? Or the finger caps while you're cutting so that you don't cut yourself. The rocker knife, which is just a knife that you kind of rock back and forth. Adaptive cutting boards that suction cup to the table. And then they have an edge to them so that whatever you're cutting doesn't slide off. They have prongs so that you can kind of stick an apple on there and then use your rocker knife to cut the apple, right? All different kinds of adaptive feeding utensils. Those are all small things. In the bedroom, we have just a cheap little motion light on the bed so that if a person, when they get up in the morning and their legs kind of go over the side of the bed, it'll activate that motion light so they can kind of see where they're going when they get up. I think that's a good one. Medications, lately we get a lot of requests for that. I think that's the biggest thing that has taken off, at least in our county, is medication dispensers. Because it's kind of an easy thing to start with,
Yes.
and caregivers love it. Because they're not begging you to take your meds.
And and from a perspective of a caregiver and an agency provider, that's one of the biggest liabilities we
Yes.
have.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yes, for someone who we've already established is not typically making more than $10, $12, $11 an hour, as a beginner. So
Yes.
you have to find some people who actually have tons and tons of experience in it to feel comfortable about it. But then you run into, well, are they too laxed? Are they passing meds like a handoff?
Sure.
So that is definitely it's been a game changer for us in the very beginning as well.
That's a great point. It's something that is easy to get buy-in from all sides. Mm-hmm. Caregivers, natural supports love it because they're not the ones that are bugging them anymore, and they can get text messages or emails or phone calls if the person misses or if they don't take it. So they can still be in the loop. Mm-hmm. And then providers love it because it does take a little bit of pressure off of them, which then helps them build the relationship with the individual, right? It's one less thing you're bugging them about.
Yeah.
Or, kind of making them do, right? One less power struggle for them to just, set up their own meds, take their own meds. But to get back to why I brought that up, bubble packs, right, for meds. It's such an overlooked, we get parents that say, well, they can't sort their own meds, so I'm sorting their meds. Well, do you know that you can get bubble packs right from the pharmacy for free, and each bubble can have more than one pill in it. So they can come ready right to your door. So something simple like that, we get requests where they think they need a medication dispenser. And then we say, we kind of do our assessment to see, is that what's needed? And sometimes it's just a bubble pack and maybe a reminder on their phone or a reminder on their Alexa. And then that's the ticket. So I think sometimes, you do start lower. In the bathroom in the house, we have lots of adaptive toothbrushes, which are fun.
Oh, wow.
So for example, a toothbrush that has 3 heads on it. So when you brush, you just have to brush one way because there's bristles on all sides of your teeth already, right?
Wow.
So simple on Amazon. So something like that, is a quick fix. Sometimes, not for everyone, of course. I shouldn't say that. Toothpaste dispensers, we have a toothpaste dispenser that you just screw in the toothpaste on top and you push your toothbrush in and it squeezes the toothpaste onto your toothbrush.
I want that.
Yeah. Same for my kids, again. Because that's like like how much toothpaste can we squeeze out of this toothbrush? We have a shower head. This isn't super simple, but also not crazy. Our shower head changes colors based on the water that's coming out. So it starts out, I think it's blue maybe. It either starts blue and then it turns green when it gets warmer, and then it turns red if it's too hot, or it starts green and goes blue. I can't remember the green and the blue, but anyways, so that's a nice visual to see, okay, the water is warm enough for me to get in, or the water's too hot, I need to turn it down. Because again, that's a small thing that parents and caregivers will say, well, they don't know how hot, they don't know, or they don't recognize, or they don't care, right? Some people just have that threshold of, they don't care if it's scalding hot, to them, they're gonna hop in and get their shower. So that's a simple thing too that I think can really help people out.
That is kind of mind-blowing to me. It seems so simple, but I never would have. Yeah. I would have been drilling holes in the wall to stop it at a certain
stop
place.
Here. Yeah, there's lots of things you can do, and I think that's another point that we really want to make. The house isn't just all high-tech stuff. There is a ton of low-tech stuff, because sometimes that's good enough. That works. You don't have to have, all the elaborate things. But you could, right? We all could. Mm-hmm. So I think that's another thing, we have individuals maybe, like the curtains, for example. I can open my own curtains, but wouldn't it be nice to just keep my feet kicked up on the couch and just tell my Google to do that?
Yeah.
So it can also be, a motivating thing for individuals that, maybe you save up for that. Right? So maybe, we can't necessarily justify it through waiver for medical necessity, but maybe it's a cool thing that will make you more independent that you want to save up for, and you could have that in your own house. So I think it can also be a motivator just for independent living in general. Because again, sometimes you have that learned helplessness of, why would I do it when mom or dad's going to do it?
Yes.
They're doing it, so why would I? So, sometimes technology can be a motivator to do it yourself and to be more independent.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel right now, because I feel like I'm being really lazy. I'm thinking about all of these things. I want so much of this tech myself right now.
It's easy to do.
Yeah. Well, I was also watching the video, and I noticed that not only is the house cool, but you got a big pond or lake out back. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's the old house. That's the OG Twin Tech
Oh, that
brain
was the
tucked.
first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
See,
that
that's
was
where he wants to go. He wants to fish.
I want to
Me
go
too.
to that one.
I was like, I want to live here. We all said, we should try it out first.
Yes.
We need to make sure it's safe.
Right.
We have to stay here. We didn't get to do that. But yes, that's the old house. Yeah.
I was
Unfortunately,
confused.
this one doesn't have one.
Boo. No, I'm just
okay.
kidding. I
It's
have to
okay.
dig one.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Just
It's a cornfield back there.
couple $1 million. That'll be
Yeah.
fine. Just a huge lake.
We can do it.
So I know it's not open yet, but when it opens, how can people schedule to stay, or what's that process look like? They just go to the website. I don't know how to
Yeah,
work.
sure. So you can definitely go to our website, which is woodcountydd.org. And then I believe health supports is the category that you would select. And then that will also take you to our lending library too. So if you're interested in seeing what we have, almost all of our inventory is on there. We probably need to update it, but and that has a nice handout with all the technology that explains what it is. And then also links to the house and links to our email. So the email is remotesupport@woodcountydd.org. So you can email that email to schedule a tour, a trial stay. So as far as out of county, if an individual that doesn't live in the county, they can absolutely tour it whenever they want, but they can also stay overnight. We just have to work with the team on logistics. Because if someone who's served by Wood County is staying, we have our SSA on call. We have those supports in place. Whereas if someone from Lucas County, say, was staying, we couldn't use that Wood County SSA on call. So we would just have to have a backup plan, right? So we could definitely work with the team to make that happen for other counties. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to mention is one of the really cool things we're doing right now in the house is we've made an escape room.
Ooh.
Yes, with the technology. And we've done it a few times, and I was really skeptical about it, but it is awesome.
How does that work?
Oh, it's so great. So we lock you in. Not really, of course. And then we have clues. And so you have to find the different clues and you have to use the technology to get to the next clue.
Wow.
So I can't give any spoilers because I'm hoping people will reach out and schedule an escape room. But it's very cool. And then, at the end, there's a reward that's exciting if you get to the end. Everyone has gotten to the end. So far, we've done it both with groups of individuals served and also our staff. So we have our summer transition program that's done it, and they absolutely love it. We've done day programs. We had 2 day programs, bring groups, come and go through the escape room. And then right now we're working through our agency staff. So we've had most of the SSAs go through, the service coordinators, I think you guys call them SASs in Lucas County. We've had most of them go through. We've had the real ladies of HR, our HR department went through.
Is that what you guys call them, the real ladies of HR?
So everyone could come up with their own name. So their name was the real ladies of HR.
I love it.
Yes. They've all come up with really fun names. There's been great team spirit. So, I think that's a great activity, again, not only for the individuals that we work with, but for providers, a good team building activity while also exposing people to technology. So we've been opening it up. Some people from DODD, Kelly Shuck and Sarah are coming, Sarah Burnham, they're coming on Friday to do it. So, they're going to do a little team building together. So I really think any group, you guys should come.
I think that should be our stop.
I might be the first person that doesn't make it through.
I test horribly.
You can do it.
We might get stuck in there.
I believe in you. I believe in you. You do have 3. You can cash in 3 clues. So, you can use your clues.
Okay.
I can help you get through it.
I think we should try
They just
this.
come in the door and we're eating each other. We're not going to make it.
We're starving.
there is food in the house. So you could eat the fruit snacks first.
We take it seriously. We take this stuff very seriously.
Who's eating who first here?
Oh my gosh.
Went to a dark
That would be a
place.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a first time for everything.
Yeah. So we're trying to do creative programming like that to,
That's awesome.
To just expose people, everyone, anyone and everyone. We've had we had a UT, some OT students came through. They did the escape room. That was fun. And Owens. I think some Owens students did it too. So it's a good time.
Sounds like a good time.
Heck
Yeah.
Speaking of good times,
I have something for you, and it's called Rapid Fire.
Oh, this sounds great.
Yes, Rapid Fire is a part of the show in which I do a game show scenario with you in a would you rather wording.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so bad at this.
I am actually even worse at writing them at times. So I try to keep them relevant to the conversation and stuff.
Great.
And then I would typically have my kids do them. And it got into a real rant of poop and pee jokes for a long time.
Yes.
Those are some of my favorites.
I'm good at that. 3 small children, so.
So, look. So we're in the same boat of being ran by a whole bunch of children.
Oh, yeah.
All right. First one. Would you rather have a birthday every day of the year or celebrate Christmas every other month?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. See?
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Christmas every other month because I feel like a birthday every day. I mean, then I feel like you would feel so old.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Like you just like every day I'm a day older, I'm a day older, I'm a day older.
Well, I would not want to talk to people that much and hear them sing to me every single day.
That's
At least
true,
Christmas,
yeah.
you can spread out the love.
And there's Christmas in July. You know, like you could...
Yeah, you could make more happen.
Yeah, you could kind of alter the celebration to different places. And Christmas is my favorite holiday. Every year we do the matching family pajamas. I am that mom.
Yeah.
I am that mom that makes that happen. My husband goes along with it. Yeah, so I would pick Christmas.
More power to you.
Good one. That was good.
All right. Would you rather be served by a waiter wearing only a bow tie or served by the chef fully clothed but with a questionable dinner?
Oh my gosh. You're not specifying who the waiter is, right?
Nope. It's just, it looks questionable.
No, the waiter. The waiter's not questionable, right? The waiter's just wearing a bow tie.
The waiter's just wearing a bow tie.
I think I'm going to have to go with the waiter wearing a bow tie.
Yes, I would too.
Yeah, because I could have like Aquaman, right?
Exactly.
Aquaman could be serving me dinner in a bow tie.
There you go. The long hair and all that.
That's right. I'm here for it. Questionable food is a no for me.
Lastly, would you rather have a completely automated home or a car that drives itself? Yeah, this was the only one that made sense to what we were talking about.
That's okay. I love it. I would say, I'm going to say a completely automated home. That one really made me think because I like driving.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
I know. I am the weirdo that's like, let's road trip instead of taking the airplane.
Like, I've become better at it.
Yeah.
And Paul can tell you, like, well,
I would pick the car. I had no questions asked.
but yeah,
Really?
I would definitely choose
love
the car
driving.
myself as well.
But see, the problem is, it doesn't matter if the car drives itself. You still have to worry about other people.
True.
So it's not like I could multitask. That was the process that just went through my head. Okay, so if the car could drive itself, I could accomplish other things while it's driving, but not really, because you'd still have to pay attention to all the other people running stop signs and cutting.
Unless you fall asleep. I've seen plenty of people sleep in Teslas online.
Yeah, that's a no for me. That's a no.
Well,
I feel like you'd have to pay just as much attention.
That makes sense. And you know, the funniest thing, I typically make fun of people who take a long time answering these, but these, I think you had to really think through, because I thought about.
I'm an overthinker, so it doesn't matter.
No, that's beautiful.
I just know if I had an automated house, I would be like, "Where's the freaking switch? I don't know how to stop this thing." I'd freak
you
out.
wouldn't need a switch, right? You could just use your voice. You'd have to remember the prompts, but that could also go terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Because again, if your internet is garbage or...
Have you ever gotten a phone and it's supposed to have, like back in the day, I remember Windows came out with this phone. It was called the Wing. And it had a Windows system on it. I was able to use Excel and everything. It was one of its
That's amazing.
pioneering pieces of tech. And it was probably 2011 or so.
Okay.
But you press the button and the Windows button, and you would have to say start live search, and then you can put in a prompt. And my kids began making fun of me because I would sit there and I would get so frustrated trying to drive, and I'm like, start live search. not understanding. And then when I finally got the prompt done, it was like, okay, I could have just looked it up or handed the phone off by now.
Yeah.
But we've come a long way since then.
That happens in our house a lot, like my personal house and also the Twin Tech house. Yesterday we did a closed reception. So in the house there's artwork, and all the artwork was made by people with disabilities. And so we had a reception last night for just the artists to come see their artwork hung up, and some of the donors as well who donated some of the technology. And there was a lot of people in the house. So Google was not hearing us. And so I'm just like, from across the room, like, hey, Google, open the curtains. It was obnoxious. So yeah, I totally get that. And
my car does that. I don't even have it set up, and it'll be like a song will be playing, and the Google Listen thing will just come on. I'm like, that doesn't even sound like saying, hey, Google.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know. It freaks me out. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. But we want to thank you for coming on the podcast. And we got, you have, if you want to tell people about the open house coming up, hopefully we can get this episode out before then. But if not, just general more about how they can get to the house and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so our open house is going to be next Wednesday, July 26th from 11 to 6. We're asking people to drive to the county board, and then we'll have a shuttle going back and forth because there's not a ton of parking. It is a residential home. So it'll be 11 to 6. We'll have some light refreshments. You'll have a chance to go through the house and see all the technology, see all of the pieces that were donated as well as the pieces that we put in the house. But if that doesn't work for you, or if you're seeing this after July 26th, you can send us an email at remotesupport@woodcountydd.org or give us a call, 419-352-5115. Or go to our website, woodcountydd.org. All of those avenues can lead you to the Twin Tech 2.0 house. We would love to have you. Providers, individuals, community members, anyone and everyone, we'd love to have you come through the house. And don't forget about the escape room. Great team building activity, lots of fun. So yeah, we would love to have you. Thanks for having me again. I'd love to come back. Hopefully you guys can come out to the house. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that would be
definitely going to do that.
Let's do it.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Whoop.
THS Remote Supports is clearly focused on improving independent living through dynamic and personalized services. Their systems have been carefully developed and perfected to ensure that everyone receives the best care through the least intrusive means possible. Located in Cincinnati, Ohio, they've spent over 20 years providing in-home supports to individuals with disabilities. If you or someone you know is looking for a remote service provider, go to thsrss.com or call 513-882-9088.